Welcome to the Radical Audacity Podcast. I'm Tiffany Kane, your host. On this podcast, you are going to meet people that walk their own path, live life on their own terms, let go of other people's rules and expectations and the shoulds in life, and instead live life in their own truth, integrity, and authenticity. This podcast will give you the inspiration you need to live your own radically audacious life. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tiffany's Titillating Talks, where I come to you with a little episode to talk about some musings that I have throughout my day that I think will really help you as you try to live your most audacious life. So today was a huge act of audacity for me. Today was my last day at my day job. Yes, the last day. I turned in my computer. I said goodbye to everyone. I packed up my office, and it's officially my last day. I am now officially, as of this moment, full-time in my business. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm flying high. I really thought I would have more mixed emotions about today, but I really don't, you guys. I'm really excited. I feel like my soul is coming unchained, and I just feel like there's this possibility just overflowing. You know how there's surface tension on water when it just is about to overflow from your glass, and there's that beautiful surface tension bubble. I feel like that's where I'm at right now. Like the merest, tiniest thing is just going to send my abundance bubble just overflowing. And it's such an amazing feeling, you guys. It's this just anticipation and excitement. And I'm just so thrilled to be here. I'm my own boss. I got to tell you, I don't know. I mean, my boss is kind of cool. She's a little crazy, a little insane, but we have some fun. So it's amazing, you guys. I can't believe it. And do you want to talk about insane moment of synchronicity? Absolutely insane moment of synchronicity. On my drive home today, Sahara Rose's podcast came up, and she happened to be talking about pivots in life and shifting and changing, which today obviously is a huge shift and change and pivot for me. And so I was just entranced of, oh my goodness, this was the episode I really needed to hear. And I've got to tell you, what Sahara Rose said on her podcast just really resonated. And if you haven't listened to Sahara Rose, you should. She's a gloriously beautiful woo-woo person, talks about dharma and purpose. And I love it. I love it so much. It's on the edges of my comfort zone, which I really like. I like being in places that are on the edges of my comfort zone and learning new things. And so I feel like every time I listen to her, I learn something new. But she said something today that I thought was such a beautiful explanation of where I'm at right now. She was talking about when we make big shifts and pivots in life, whether it's moving, changing jobs, changing relationships, that we can look at it as a soul contract that is completed. And I just thought that was so beautiful. I want to say it again, a soul contract that is completed. And that to me was so powerful because that's exactly how I've been feeling. I feel like the teaching job that I had for the last 20 years, 16 of it in the classroom, the last 4 years of it working in professional development, creating training and doing coaching for teachers it was wonderful. It was my soul's calling for a very long time. It was a job I was passionate about and I believed in with every fiber of my being. And it was uncomfortable for me in the last probably year and a half, 2 years, when I realized it was no longer my soul's calling. When I realized I was no longer doing the work that I was sent here to do, where I felt called for so much more. And she said a line. I stopped and wrote it down. I was one of those crazy people. Let me pull over on the side of the road. I need to write this down. She used the term that when your soul contract is complete, it's not that you are now better than you were before, that this new path you're taking is not necessarily better than the one you were doing before. It's just that you have personally evolved and shifted. And I thought that was so beautifully said, because there is not a single part of my soul that believes I am better than teaching, right? Or that what I'm doing now is more important than teaching. Because I will tell you right now, teaching children to me is one of the highest callings in the world. Having the soul, that's beautiful, awesome responsibility of having young minds that you get to be a part of shaping, that you get to be such an important part of their life. I think each of you can think of several teachers in your lives that you will never, ever forget because they made such a huge impact on your life. And my great hope is that I was that kind of teacher for children. And I feel so blessed and so honored to have had 20 years in that career. And I will, for the rest of my life, hold teachers in the highest of esteem and truly think that education is one of the highest honors in the world. So it's not that I am feeling like, oh, I'm going on to something better. I'm doing something more important with my life. It's not that at all. It's just that I have shifted and evolved and changed. And now what I want to do it's shifted. I want to be more in charge of my life. I want to have an impact in the world in a little bit of a different way. I have so many things and so many interests and so many journeys I want to go on that I just couldn't if I stayed in my career. And so my soul is calling for a shift. And so I am shifting. And like I said, what she said resonated so deep in my core. I pulled over, took notes, and was like, I need to come home and record an episode. I just need to talk to you guys about this idea of your soul contract being complete in whatever it is that you're doing. I truly believe that so many of you that are in my audience that are listening to this podcast are in that place. You're drawn to this podcast because you've been doing the things you should do. You've been doing the things that you wanted to do. And now you're being called to do something else. And it can feel a little unsettling. It can feel a little like, wait a minute, am I moving in a direction that is away from who I've been my whole life? Like, what's happening to me? What is this new path? And the new path often feels really scary. But if we can shift it, if we can have that paradigm shift of you're just evolving, and it doesn't mean that anything you did in your past was wrong, that it was wrong for you, or that you shouldn't have been on that path. It simply means your path is shifting and changing and pivoting, that your soul contract is complete with whatever it was you were doing before, whether it was a marriage, whether it was a friendship, whether it was a career, whether it was a place that you were living. You can fully embrace that past journey and all of the beautiful experiences that you had and all of the learning that you had and all of the growth you did there, and say, that's not who I am anymore. I am now moving in this different direction. And you can celebrate that and honor it and feel so much joy in your past and in the pivot and in the future. I feel so lifted right now. I feel so energized. I feel so joyful. Like I feel tears of joy prickling behind my eyes. I feel like I'm sprouting wings and flying and truly evolving. And I am so beyond grateful that each of you that is listening has been on this journey with me. And if you're just finding this podcast today, thank you for joining me on this journey in how it's going to shape and shift and pivot and all of the amazing things that are going to happen in the future. I'm thrilled. And I know I am now on a path that's going to be filled with a ton of pivots because I just know it. I know it. I'm going to be constantly pivoting and shifting and changing and refining and finding that place where my soul wants to go. And that is really exciting to me. It's exciting to know that 5 years from now, I am not going to be in the same place that I am today. I may not even be talking about the same things. And that's thrilling to me because that means I am going to be growing. And my hope is that 5 years from now, you are still listening and you are growing and shifting and changing, and you are letting me know all of those shifts and changes and growths that are happening in your life because, hearing about your celebrations and your triumphs and your joys and your challenges, those bring me so much joy. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being such an important part of this growth journey for me, this soul journey. I am beyond thrilled for the things that are happening in this second chapter of my life. And I'm so thrilled to be here with you. Thank you so much. If this episode resonated with you, come over on Instagram and DM me and let me know. I love your messages so much. And if you can think of a friend that this episode will inspire, please share it. This is the best way that this message and community can grow is by you sharing. It means so much to me. Also, for a limited time, I am offering connection calls. So if you feel like you would like to work with a coach who has just made the shift and the change, and you're trying to get the courage to make the shift and the change, and you need help finding that heck yes, there is a link in the show notes for you to schedule a connection call with me so that we can see if working with me is the right thing for you. I'm so thrilled to be here with you today, and I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day.